Hello everybody สวัสดีครับอ่าวันนี้ผมกินคาวาครับคาวาเป็นน้ำสมุนไพรมาจากแปซิฟิกใต้ผมชอบคาวามาก10 ปีที่แล้วผมอยู่ที่วานูอาตูเป็นประเทศที่แปซิฟิกใต้ครับโอ้โห Hey honey, my wife just watching the video. So today I want to talk about Kava and what it is. So I made this today. To make Kava, you take the root powder. I got a couple varieties of Kava here I brought over from the UK. These varieties come from the Solomon Islands. This one is from, this one's called Temotu Purple, and this one is Solomon Headhunter. This is the one I'm drinking today. I made up 2 bottles worth. Now generally, if you're drinking Kava in a group, you won't put it in a bottle. In Vanuatu, they like to store it in bottles like this. It makes it easier to move it around and stuff, but yeah, different countries have different ways of drinking Kava. So yeah, these are 2 varieties I've got. I got a few more varieties up there, and I store some Kava in this over here. This is pretty cool. A friend of mine in Bangkok got this made up, and it's just a cool thing to store your Kava. This is the Kava plant. The scientific name for Kava is Piper methysticum. It's Piper or Piper? Piper methysticum. And this is actually the original painting that forgotten what his name is now. The historical Cook. What's his name? Cook. The guy that traveled all around, the European explorer, when he first discovered Kava. This is when he first found it, he wasn't discovered it, but this is the painting he put in his book. It's pretty cool. So I used to live in Vanuatu about 10 years ago. Vanuatu, as I said, is a country in the South Pacific. And yeah, this is Kava. And in Vanuatu, they drink Kava as a social intoxicant. It's a way to relax at the end of the day. So different cultures across the South Pacific drink Kava in different ways. So in Tonga and Fiji, for example, they often use it in cultural ceremonies and political ceremonies, where they'll all sit round in a big table and they will discuss politics and other things while consuming the drug, while consuming Kava, and they will clap their hands twice every time they take a shell. It's more of a Tongan, Fijian thing. In Vanuatu, they don't really do that. In Vanuatu, they drink it after all the discussion of politics and all the other things is done and over with. Then they go and drink Kava in the Nakamau. The Nakamau is a cultural hut or community house, and all the men in Vanuatu, only men are allowed to drink Kava, although these days it's changing a little bit and it depends on the island. Each island, Vanuatu is made up of 100 islands, and each island has a slightly different Kava drinking culture and rules and things like that, and preparation methods. Yeah, so this is Kava, and so in Vanuatu they speak a language called Bislama. Bislama is a kind of pidgin English. A lot of the Pacific Island nations have a variety of Bislama. For example, in Papua New Guinea they speak Tok Pisin, which is another variety of pidgin English. So it's kind of It's mainly English with a very simplified grammar structure and no, English with a simplified grammar structure. A lot of the words are changed a little bit, and then there's just like a few random French words thrown in. So Vanuatu was colonized both by the British and the French. The French hung on a little bit longer. They're now independent. They've been independent for a while now. But now China's invading. At the moment, China's buying up all the land in Vanuatu, building big resorts. Politicians are corrupt, taking money so that they can sell passports to the Chinese. It's a big mess at the moment politically in Vanuatu. But it's an interesting place. It's a place where people are self-sufficient, so they don't need jobs and things like that. They live on their little island. They grow their vegetables up on the mountains. Mountains up on the top of the hills. They'll have their plantations of taro and island cabbage and other things. They'll raise pigs and chickens, and they'll live self-sufficiently. And then they generally, in the past, they've always relied on donations from Australia, New Zealand, and other countries for things like healthcare and stuff like that. So yeah, that's Vanuatu and Bislama. So maybe I'll try and speak a little bit of Bislama today. If I can remember, I spoke it 10 years ago. So I will describe for you Kava in Bislama. So this is Kava here, prepared by taking this root powder and putting it through a sieve and mixing it with lukewarm water, straining it through, squeezing it multiple times, and you release the Kava lactones. And the Kava lactones are the thing that has the intoxicating effect and the anti-anxiety effects and all those good effects, benefits. So Kava is generally, for me, I much prefer to drink it with a group of people, and just because the environment is part of it. You don't want to be in a well-lit environment. You don't want to be somewhere with loud music. You want to be in a nice environment with a lot of people. My wife's sending me love hearts. With a nice group of people, and you just sit, drink kava, and have a nice chat. That's it. But I also like it at the end of a day. Sometimes drink, I say a few, but maybe 5 or 10 shells of kava, and then knock yourself out, go to sleep. But the kava I get is the dried form. So in most cultures, South Pacific cultures, they drink the dried form. So they dry out the kava root. It's the root of the plant only, and then they grind it into a powder, and then they do the straining, which I suggested. If Vanuatu is a bit different. Generally, they have a stronger, more potent variety because they drink their kava. They call it green kava. It's not green, but it's the fresh root that hasn't been dried. So they pull the root up from the ground. There's been a time before when I was in Vanuatu. I was sitting at the Nakamal, and they ran out of kava, so they just went outside, pulled up a plant, a kava plant, cleaned it, took the dirt off the roots, chopped it up, and then they grind it with a big piece of coral. It's like a huge piece of sharpened coral, and they just grind up the fresh kava, mix it with a little bit of water, and then they strain it through a mesh made from banana fibers, banana leaf fibers, and then they go ahead and drink it one shell at a time. And their kava is equivalent to probably 1 shell of Vanuatu kava. When I say shell, traditionally it's drunk out of a coconut shell. 1 shell of Vanuatu kava is probably equivalent to an entire bottle of what I've made here, and I make it stronger than most people do. I use 100 grams, so this is 50. I made 100 grams for 2 bottles, so there's 50 grams of kava in this bottle, which is quite a lot. most people would maybe do 20 grams for this amount of water, but I like it a bit stronger. So let's speak some Bislama, and then I'll explain what I said after. So sometimes when I try to speak Bislama, bits of Thai gets mixed in, because that's what I often speak. Anyway, Hemi Kawa. Sorry, I'm saying Kawa because the word is Kava, Kava, but Thai doesn't have the V sound, so the closest equivalent is a W. So you say Kawa in Thai probably. But anyway, Kava Hemi one good fala drink blow yumi. So Kava Ben. Sorry, I'm saying Ben. Ben is a Thai. Kava Hemi one good fala drink blow yumi. So that means Kava. Hemi means he, me, is, so it means is. One good fala drink. One is one. Good fala just means good. In Vanuatu they add fala to the end of a lot of adjectives. Big fala, small fala, good fala, bad fala. So good fala just means good drink. Drink, blow yumi. Blow means comes from the word belong, and then belong, meaning belonging to. So belong, and then yumi, which means you, me, or you and me. It means everybody. Yumi is everybody. So Kava Hemi one good fella drink blow yumi. Kava is a good drink for everybody. Hemi. Fuck. Anyway, Kava Hemi relaxam you big one. My battery is almost dead. Kava Hemi relaxam you big one, which means Kava Hemi it. Relaxam comes from relax. You is you. Big one, a lot. So as you can see, it's a pretty simple pidgin English language, but I think it's pretty cool. So when you drink Kava, let's do a shell. You drink it a shell at a time. You have to mix it, or if you're making it in a big bowl, make sure you mix up the bowl each time you serve a shell, because the sediment will fall to the bottom. So you can pour yourself a shell. And in Tonga and Fiji, they like to clap twice before taking a shell, and say something like bulla. Tongans like to say bulla. And Vanuatu. So Vanuatu, they speak Bislama, but they're actually each island has their own language and dialect, which is before the colonists brought in the pidgin English. To kind of give a language for everyone to be able to communicate with each other from all the different islands. Before then, they spoke all their unique island languages. Some of them are really cool. And I lived in Pentecost, and they spoke, God, what was it called? Taga, I think. In Taga, you say, when you want to invite somebody to drink a shell of kava, you say, Mai ban min malohu. Mai ban min malohu is to invite somebody to drink a shell of kava, and then you just go ahead and drink it. So try to drink it all in one. When you drink kava, you're not drinking for the taste. The taste of kava is not good. It's not delicious. It tastes horrible. It tastes like muddy water. You're drinking it for the effects, not the taste. So generally, when you drink kava, you have something on the side, which in Bislama you call this wash 'em out. Wash 'em out. Wash 'em out. Me got one, wash 'em out. Me got one, wash 'em out. Me got one, wash 'em out. I have some, wash 'em out. Wash 'em out, it means it washes your mouth out. So it's a palate cleanser. After you drink kava, you want some fruit, or usually some fruit to cleanse the palate. But I don't have fruit, but I have Fruit Loops today. But Sometimes I use ginger, pickled ginger, just anything just strong tasting or really sweet tasting to kind of cut through the horrible taste, the aftertaste. Anyway, let's do the shell. Mai ba me malahu. I made it quite strong today. So initially you feel a numbing sensation all around your mouth, kind of like you've been to the dentist. And then later on, a numbing of your whole body, and takes away your anxiety, and it takes away your stress and your worries. It makes you relax, but doesn't make you drunk, as in you're in control of your body. You're not gonna be, unless you drink a shitload of it, you're not gonna be falling over and stuff. And your body may become numb, but as your body becomes a little bit numb, your mind still becomes completely clear. Which is the cool thing about Kava. So, but the taste is horrible. So generally you'll take one shell, and maybe 15-30 minutes, even an hour later sometimes, you'll take another shell, just one at a time over a long period of time. So yeah, this is Kava, and as they would say in Vanuatu, Kava hemi one good fella drink blow yumi hemi relaxem you big one, which means that Kava is a great drink for everybody, and it will really relax you. I'm not going to wait 50 minutes. I'm going to do another shell now, and then I was going to explain something else I've forgotten now regarding Kava. The legalities of Kava in Thailand. I'll explain that in a moment. Wash them out. Sometimes in Vanuatu they'll have sliced banana, they'll have cooked taro, sometimes little bits of pork, just something to clear the taste in your mouth. I'll sometimes wash the mouth out with a bit of water and spit on the floor as well. Spitting isn't really something that's frowned upon in Vanuatu culture. So generally you'll take a spit on the floor, but I'm inside here, so I'm not going to be spitting on my in my office floor. But anyway, yeah. So legalities of Kava in Thailand. So Kava is very hard to get hold of in Thailand. It only grows in a few places in the world. It grows on most of the Pacific Islands, so Fiji, the Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea, Tonga. What else we got over there? Yeah, there's a few more, and they've managed to cultivate it a little bit in New Zealand. But that's about it, really. That's pretty much where it grows in the world. I think the climate in the south of Thailand is very similar to Vanuatu, so I think it may be possible to grow it here. It's just getting it doesn't grow from seed. You'd need to import a seedling, or bring over cuttings, which would be even I'm not sure you get cuttings going. You probably have to bring a plant over. Life and love, brother. Jake's just sent a message. He's a keen Kava drinker. Lives up in Chiang Mai. I think we've not met yet, but hopefully we will meet one day. So yeah, the legalities in Thailand generally, it's not known to be legal or illegal. They haven't made a decision on it because nobody in Thailand really uses it or consumes it or imports it. So and it's imported at such a small scale that they don't really notice that it isn't something that they even bother deciding to decide if it's legal or illegal. So at this stage you can legally import it. I've imported it to Thailand several times by post and by all sorts of things. I brought it over from England, and the supplier in England obviously got it imported over from the South Pacific. Yeah, so generally, so the scientific name is Piper methysticum, or Piper methysticum. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, and you probably recognize the word pippa because it comes from the pepper plant. It's in the same family as the pepper plant. So these are two varieties I've got here. This one's a Solomon Kava. These both Solomon Kavas. Generally, the strongest Kavas come from either the Solomon Islands or Vanuatu. Solomon Kava has a little bit of a yellow tinge. Fijian and Tongan Kava seems to be a little milder, but also it goes down a little easier. Solomon is probably the worst tasting Kava. I've lost track of what I was saying now. So the Kava's is working. So the legalities, yeah, they haven't really decided if it's legal or not. So at this stage you can legally bring it in, but I don't think they've done FDA testing and that kind of thing in Thailand on the product. So for that reason, it's probably illegal to sell for human consumption, maybe, but probably illegal to sell it as something else. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's not a prohibited drug that's on a list somewhere, or something like that. Before, a friend of mine told me when he went to the so I had to go to the what do you call it when you import something and you go to that office to pick it up? What's that called? Not immigration. You see, I'm losing my cognitive ability. Customs, yeah, customs typed it into the system, Kava, and it just came up as Prik Thai Dam. Prik Thai Dam is Thai for the pepper plant, which natively grows in Thailand, which is one of the reasons why I think it may be possible if you get a plant over here of 5 or 6 and do some trial and error, you may be able to get a plant going, a Kava plant growing over here. Maybe I'll try it one day. I don't know. It'd be pretty hard to get a plant over here. But yeah, so it's legal at this moment. But Thailand's legalizing a lot of stuff these days. Marijuana is becoming more and more legal, and so is kratom, which I got into drinking a lot recently. So I recently quit alcohol. About 45 days in now, since I last drank any alcohol. But I haven't quit drugs completely. I've been drinking Kava, I've been drinking kratom, and I've been drinking green tea and coffee as well. I've kicked the kratom now as well about a week ago because it can be a little addictive, and it messes with your sleep. It can mess with your sleep if you drink too much of it. But so now I'm just on Kava and coffee, which I don't think I'll be quitting either of those. But yeah, it's a good drug. You should try it. So at the moment I've got it prepared here in my water bottle. I do another shell. I think there's a few people watching. Feel free to ask me a question. Probably going to end this pretty soon. I've never really done a live on Facebook before, apart from in my teaching groups and stuff. Alright, I reckon I'm gonna end that video. Nice to meet everybody, and yeah, if you ever get the chance, drink Kava. If you're ever in Bangkok, let me know, and I will hook you up with a group of Kava enthusiasts that live up there, that often meet and drink kava. And if you're ever in the deep south of Thailand, do let me know, and I will invite you to drink kava with me. Alright, have an awesome day. Take it easy, guys. Cheers, Jake.